out there. I see your sharks. Hey, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. And don't forget to participate in the poll. It's not a right or wrong answer. Just want to see where your head at. Tonight we're going to be talking about bulldogs. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Can y'all hear me? Everybody, if you can hear me, put your thumbs up. Put your thumbs up if you can hear me. Mic check 1. Okay, that means y'all can hear me. Okay, got you. Y'all gotta forgive me around here. You know, we got this storm coming through here. It ain't really showed its true colors yet, but the wind done start picking up. Let me go back through. Y'all know what time it is. For y'all who didn't hear me, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to take the poll. It's not a right or wrong answer. You know what I'm saying? Just want to see where everybody's head at and how they feel about the conversation. Other thing was, to all my people on the back street, big shout out to all y'all out there. Y'all know what time it is. Roll them up, get that drink together, sit back, relax. But, you know, don't forget, our people's out there on the back street, don't forget to participate in the poll. I want y'all to be able to, I need y'all input just the same. Let me give a big shout out to all my people out there right quick before I get started here. Talk of the city, Kennels in the house. What up, fam? The one and only my main man, Mr. Dickie Foster. I see you, fam. El Diabolito. What up, fam? Big shout out to Mr. Vito Rashad. I see you, fam. The insane honey badger in the house. What up, fam? One and only the longtime supporter of my main man, Mr. David Morse is in the house. What up, fam? Big shout out to my man, Brandon Newhouse. What up, fam? The one and only Mr. William McNeil in the house. What up, fam? Big shout out to my man, John Dembry. I see you, fam. The one and only my main man, Mr. Courtney Edwards. What up, fam? Big shout out to Kalina Go Kennels in the house. What up, fam? Another big shout out to Casino Life Prayers in the house. Welcome to the Shark Tank fam. Big shout out to Unapologetic Dre. I see you, fam. Green Team. What up, fam? Big shout out to my man and them Melees in the house. What up, fam? Big shout out to Bloodthirst #1, a.k.a. Havoc 360s in the house. What up, fam? Let's see here. Okay, make sure I got everybody. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Derek Lockett. What up, fam? Okay, let's see. Let me give a big shout out to another newcomer, TXRC Senado. I think I got that right. Senado. What up, TX? I'm going to do it, keep it short. Welcome to the Shark Tank fam. My man Eli Monsters in the house. What up, fam? Big shout out to Double M Desbo. What up, fam? The Almighty One. What up, fam? Quick FSC7 in the house. What up, fam? Big shout out to Walnut, PA. Big special shout out to you, Walnut. Seen the video. Very impressed. Love that dog, bruh. Big shout out to Wild Mongoose Kennels in the house. What up, fam? Okay, y'all. Other thing, before I get started tonight, tell y'all now, y'all might as well just go ahead and load them up, get them on the bus, get your dogs, get them on the bus. We fixing to get on the bus tonight. You know, breaking sticks, chains, collars, and you can even bring your damn pads. First thing I want to get out the way is my disclaimer for tonight. This channel in no way, shape, or form condone, support, nor participate in any illegal state, local, or federal law that violate the American Welfare Act of 1979. This channel is strictly for historical, fictional, educational, and entertainment purposes only. Live by the disclaimer. Now we got that out the way. You know, me and Mo, I tell you, every once in a while we have these conversations that just comes out of nowhere. Because, you know, it's like being with two different people. Mo gonna be stuck in one way, and I'm gonna be like stuck in the other. But together, sometimes the shit does work because you're getting the good and the bad, and we're trying to cover a group of, you know, situations. So the conversation came up about Game, American Pitbull Terriers. I think he ran across something that somebody said. It kind of got to him a little bit. You know how he get, you know, when it come down to, you know, certain things. And gameness was one of them things that, how do you, you know, the poll question is, can you measure gameness? And before I go and get into my feelings on it, we all know that everybody got their certain way of using that word when it comes to these dogs. Now, I'm going to give you I'm going to just give you the definition of the American Pitbull Terrier, definition of gameness. The American Pitbull Terrier and gameness comes with the hold on. Gameness in the American Pitbull Terrier refers to the breed's historical trait of unwavering determination and perseverance, particularly in challenging or adverse situations. This characteristic was originally bred into the dogs for their roles in hunting and later in pit fighting, where they were expected to show relentless drive and courage. Gameness is not about aggression. Rather, it is about the dog's tenacity and willingness to keep going despite obstacles or fatigue. Modern responsible breeders focus on preserving the positive aspects of gameness, such as loyalty, resilience, drive, while ensuring the dogs are well socialized and trained to be safe family companions. Now that's the definition of the American Pitbull Terrier's version of gameness. Well, it does make sense. I mean, it kind of sums it up. But in totality, did you notice how it changes? The ability to try to do when you're doing the right thing, what you expect gameness to be. Because I've always said this repeatedly. For us, these dogs were bred for a purpose. You know, a lot of us, we understood that purpose. I mean, the history of these dogs was based on a purpose. Now, our way of measuring gameness might be totally different than what another person, which I would call the modern day, trying to do and get certain things because of your purpose. It's basically telling you what you're looking for, how you're trying to preserve it. Let me see where it said that. Modern responsible breeders focus on preserving the positive aspects of gameness. The positive aspects. Okay. That's where that determination between what competitors did, the hunters, to trying to fit that in the modern side of things. And where I want y'all to understand the difference, because it's important when you breeding these dogs, that trait, those certain traits that we look for. Now traits and has a lot of different, things that can be involved that you're looking for. But when it comes down to gameness, when you're dealing with game dogs, there's nothing that you can go in there and cut a switch off and on. I always felt like the tenacity and that ability to overcome things. You know, if you ever been out with your dog, remember I just told you my dog climbed a fence because she was so focused on trying to catch this squirrel. You know, she's got that hunt in her. So she's out in the yard, and I got this big ass fence, and she climbed up the fence and actually went from the fence into the tree. Whole time tail like this, and she is just on a mission. That's that. You know, when you're looking at a dog like that, that's when you measuring that that tenacity. That fence and that tree was not going to stop her from going after what she was going after. That's something that's it's already in her. How I can tell, because I see it. Now, is that, well, I consider that part of the gameness part of this, because she has that tenacity and willingness, regardless of whatever obstacle, to get up that tree and go. If I was measuring from the modern point of view, that's why I'm on the bus now, because I'm going back to where I come from. But that's one of them examples if I was gauging her based on what they call considering that gameness. No, that's just one part of it. I mean, it's hard for me to just take that one piece and then I'm going to be adding things like the loyalty. You know, I guess they throwing the loyalty in the trying to get the game part out of them. You know, you preserving that part of the game with the loyalty. Well, these dogs have, to me, over the years, you've seen dogs go from 1 yard to the next. That was just part of the game, period. Even when it comes down to you and your yard, some of them dogs gonna move on. Now, if you're selling puppies, the only way that you know that you sold a people biter is that the person you sold them says, "Hey, this dog is people aggressive." But now you're talking to the breeder. Now, at some point, that's a trait that did the breeder actually see? Was he expecting that to happen? See, these things can happen. I'm just saying. But I'm trying to include this gameness part, the way you're not just killing the whole, in the knowledge that you can't have game dogs. My thing is, regardless of how we word it, we still got to go back to what we're talking about here. We're talking about a dog that was bred for a certain purpose. Now, you can pick and choose and go through all those other things, but you got to remember, there's nothing in there that we can go turn off and turn on. It's either going to be in them to do what you want them to do, and how you're going to find that out. But that's where the purpose is. Different purposes, you're looking for different things. And if they consider trying to keep, how that go, modern responsibility, breeders focus on preserving the positive aspects of gameness. The positive aspects. Historically, the trait of unwavering determination and perseverance, particularly in challenging or adverse situations. That's gameness. Gameness is not about aggression. Whether it's about the dog's tenacity and willingness to keep going despite obstacles or fatigue. Now, when we switched over to the modern part, it didn't say we needed all of that. We're going to take the good parts out of all of that, the resilience. Okay. You notice it didn't mention aggression. It mentioned the loyalty. Okay. It didn't say guard train. It didn't say take that aggression. You know, remember it says aggression is not a part of the game word. Gameness is not through aggression. Okay, so you remember the aggression that comes with these dogs, regardless of how you're doing it, is supposed to be something that's going to be automatic. So it can't take a dog how it shakes and hold on and shit and think that's game. Because it's not listed even in its own definition as part of what consisted of gameness. The things I'm actually going over are the things from the purposes. See, over here on the modern side, you're gonna get a watered down version of a bulldog, but you don't have no control over what's actually in the bulldog simply because you're limiting what it takes to see what's actually in the bulldog. Because you'll never be in a situation when you're doing it, you know, the modern way. Trying to keep the drive. The drive is always going to be there. That's why I always said about the weight pulling, the treadmill, and running up a wall. The ability to get over the obstacles and everything like that, that's always a part of it because they have that keen ability to do that. But it all consists on how you train them to do what you're trying to get them to do. See, the one thing about that gameness and them two different purposes, you have to train a modern American Pitbull Terrier to do what you want it to do. Believe it, in regards to what people say and think, we did not have to train American Pitbull Terrier to fight. I don't know if that's a myth or whatever the hell it is. But I never trained one to fight. Never. It was always something that was born into them. It's like they can't help themselves. It's a part of who they are. Now, understanding that and knowing just that part right there, that's why we on the bus. Because, you know, from my reality checking out there, trying to get y'all to understand, there is no training a good American Pitbull Terrier to fight if it's already a part of what's in them. Sure enough, you might have to come in there and control how that fight happens, how much you can control that part of the dog, but you can't go into this dog thinking that that's not there. So there's a lot of these things that when I talk about gameness, that I feel like I ain't got to be going over. I always take it back. Remember what the hell the dog was bred for. Ain't nobody going in changing nothing mechanical in these dogs and what's going on in their heads and how, regardless of how you breed and what you're doing. If it's an American Pitbull Terrier, there's certain things that's just going to be there. You got to be able and capable of dealing with what you're working with. And I've never ever seen nobody at all the people I've ever seen them training the pit bull to fight. Literally, you know, we keep it realistic. As they grow up, you're going to see it in them. And I have yet to this day seen a confirmation show and the pit bulls was running around. I ain't seen that yet. So I'm confident that that part of the bulldog is still there. But when it comes down to the gameness, I have a different outlook on that. First of all, we got to understand the levels. Can gameness be measured? Is an hour cur any different than a 2-hour cur? I mean, how does that work? I mean, and I'm asking my audience this too, because I'm pretty sure, I mean, when I turn this over to Mo, I'm going to be reading, because you know Mo's going to go in. But I'm just setting y'all up for this conversation because, you know, Mo always wants to have participation, and he don't never get his participation. Like, he just be in it, and it's like, he just, you know, he say he feel like he's too deep. Well, I'm taking him in the rabbit hole because I know we on the bus, and he gonna take you back there, and so you can understand, you know, the simplicity of when we talk about gameness compared to how you gonna see gameness moving forward based on two different purposes. And you know what I said over here, you know, with the modern day trying to fix that situation, you're still going to be dealing with the same type of dog. You got to be responsible enough to control and understand what you got anyway. Whether you're running up a wall or not doing nothing but looking for something to tear up, because it's, you know, these dogs ain't meant for everybody. Y'all know how that works. Some of them have been the greatest pets of all time to a family, but until that one horrible day that I had never seen them do that before. So when you breeding these dogs, there's no way in the hell you can be breeding a dog and all of a sudden, with no work, no nothing put in, it's a game dog. To me, not all dogs in every pedigree, I mean, in any pedigree would be considered all of them game as hell. To me, you would really have to know what the dog went through to just be able to do some of the shit that they do. What about them 5-time grand champions with them 1 losses? Does that bad day justify the other 5 that he beat? You see where that conversation can run off to? Gameness is something that you really got to understand, that when I tell y'all, it has one meaning, and to me, one meaning is what it is. The dog's ability to have the tenacity, you know, and the want, regardless of what the situation is. They just got it that they're going to be there. And the only way you're ever going to be able to see that is you got to put them to the test to see if it's there. You're going to have to do something. You just can't just sit up there and just tell me because the way it's bred. It's game. That don't fit the criteria of what the American Pitbull Terrier and what gameness means to these dogs. Because it's total disrespect for the dog. The dog don't need you to tell him he game. The dog has everything in him that if you give him the opportunity, he will show you himself. And if you have any idea that you know what you're looking for and what you're looking at, you will understand why I use that word gameness to talk about the dog. Because it's all about the dog and what's in it. To what degree, to what level does it take to stop this dog? See, we got to understand that the gameness part of these animals. I mean, last time I checked, for me, and I'm just saying this me. A dead game dog is exactly what it says. A dead game dog. I don't even know. I really don't know no dead game dogs are supposed to be alive. I mean, it's hard to say, you know, how people use the term the way I see them use it. But, dead game is that's what it meant. To me, Tommy Boy was a dead game dog. She did whatever it took on her last thing she done. To me, that was a dead game dog. Dead game dogs is what they is. Now, a game ass dog is that dog that I'd be like, okay, in a war, 3, anything over 2 hours to me, you got some bad boys there. It's not easy. And remember, y'all on the bus with me, so I'm gonna tell you, 2 hours is not easy. And you got hell on your hands if you're there hour 30. And you don't know if you're ahead or behind. See, I guess after seeing as much as I've seen over the many years, I have much respect for these dogs, even the ones that lose. Because sometimes you see dogs are so game that you just know there's no way that they can win this. But you can't tell that dog that. You can't tell them that. To me, that's a game ass dog. That's where the honorableness comes out when you can pick one up like that. Don't fool yourself. He might not have the mouth. He might not have the talent, but one damn thing for sure, you will know he's game. How do you know? Because you've seen it. That's how I look at gameness. And then let me get to the poll question. I mean, for us, I ain't got a chance to look at the poll yet. I really want to know: can gameness actually be measured? I don't want to get my. I'm gonna let Mo get it. I'm gonna let Mo get on that before, and at the end of the show, I'll let you know how I feel about it. Can gameness be measured? But first of all, I feel like we got to understand what we're talking about tonight. I need everybody to be on the same page because you're back here on the bus now. And back here on the bus, I'm going to tell you about what we consider game. And the only way we could ever tell just how game you was is we had to see. See, not every game dog made it to the box, people. No. And be game as hell. There has been some game dogs down in history that have them losses due to a better opponent. Regardless of what people say, when it came down to Snooty, there was a reason why they was breeding his ass the way they was breeding his ass, because let the story be told, Snooty never stopped. That was the problem. He had that all go into it. He was in it. But when you up against a better dog, but you couldn't tell Snooty that he wasn't winning. He was just in the right person's hands and knew when to pick up. And I can know when to pick up. And you got to know. I mean, when we talk about Kimsey Woods and James Edwards and them, man, remember they've been in the dogs at least 20, 30 years before we got even started messing with them. So when you hearing the story come from the horse's mouth and want to understand why he cherishing this dog that we don't know nothing about, this, here's his grave and he got a tombstone on him and his wood snooty. To know now what I know about that dog in history and that story. And then, based on my own history, me and seeing some of the things I've seen, I can understand because we had one. Her name was Amber. I always tell you about Amber. How we actually got our hands on Amber. How we built Going Hard off a dog that we knew was game as shit. A bitch. No doubt in our minds that this dog is game as hell. Why can't she produce it? We ain't got to even discuss that because that make me have to start going back to the Going Hard shit for all you non-believers. We took a group of dogs. We put them together based off of gameness. Remember, the bitch that had no talent. Well, she had some talent, but she had that tenacity. She was just all go, but she was in there with a badass bitch. That she couldn't keep up. There's no way she couldn't keep up. But you couldn't tell her that. And somebody else owned her at the time. We bought Amber right out of the box. Yeah. Kennel partner said, I'll pay you. Just pick her up. And he picked her up. And that bitch right there was the beginning of what I call going hard. That's true enough. All other dogs, she gonna find Amber as the only going hard dog in the APBT pedigree. They say it's going hard. That's where it started at. But understanding that was our concept. Remember, we had dogs way before then. We had Goldie, triple bred Jeep bitch, game as hell, no doubt. Remember, she had 3 legs. That's why. But she was a precious dog. She needed a good home. She got a good home. She lived her life out. 3-legged bitch. Couldn't get shit off of her, but it was just the fact that we had her. And she was just so playful, and she was still a bulldog because she would still go into one. That's for damn sure. But she was just a good, beautiful dog. But understanding, when I'm talking about the purpose of the game part of it, I'm kind of like, all right, this is shit that we be talking about when we be talking about game shit. Just gameness is something that you can see for yourself. Don't every dog get that game title, regardless, you can show game, but at what point do you fall short of what you call game when you start using that word cur? A game-ass cur don't work for me. Because I'm still a strong believer in, you can cur a dog into quitting. What if his keep ain't right? What if the dog's sick in some type of way? Yeah, or he one of them them true curs. Them true curs be them ones that they know they in trouble. And you can see what it looked like when they trying to get the hell up out of Dodge. It's called preservation of life. See, that's that thing you don't want in that trait That's a bad trait to me. That trait canceled anything about gameness about that dog. Yeah, it had the tenacity. Yep, it had the thing, but it didn't have what it took to get up over that obstacle.
But what about the dog that they leave down there to get beat up, Mike?
Well,
they don't want to pick him up.
Well,
and the dog is not just plain hopeless.
Well, again, integrity has a whole lot to do when you're dealing with gameness. To me, at some point you got to have some type of integrity and the love for the dog to see and understand that, you know, this situation, you know, I'm gonna save him. You know, it's just sometimes you got to just know. I mean, and when I say that, because you know, when you've been around, you just know when it's that time. And everybody around you should know when it's about that time. But that's all a part of gameness. When you can start going beyond that, it's almost like cruelty. Just being honest. Just straight up. Straight cruelty.
He quit because he's being treated cruel.
Right. You know, you can.
What could he do?
You want to do this? But y'all know where I'm coming from. Before Mo gets started, I wanted to get that out the way real quick. We only going to be representing the purpose. And for us, the purpose was competition. The competitive nature of what the dogs was actually bred for. And I go over that again. Gameness in American Pitbull Terrier refers to the breed's historical trait of unwavering determination and perseverance, particularly in challenging or adverse situations. That is what the hell it was bred to do, man. That's part of the dog. The gameness part, again, it tells you what it takes to get there. It tells you what it is. Is it levels to that shit? Yes, it is. But then there's so many factors that can come into play. And you'll only understand those factors the more you are participating in your skill. And that works on either hand for me. Regardless, remember, even the purpose, when you locked in, you locked in. If you locked in to be a football player, but you liked the baseball, but you locked in on football 9 times out of 10, you're going to go play football because that's what you love to do. For my modern people that's over here, understand the training that it takes to get these dogs what you want them to do, as far as even understanding that you still can't walk into a competition show and cut your dog loose. It don't have to be because of your dog. You don't know what that other man's dog gonna do. Until everybody get comfortable enough where you can turn the mugs loose and everybody out there hanging out together, then I would be more like, okay, the game, you know, the gameness of them is still there. But, you know, you got that trained loyalty down pat. But you got to get a whole community to think like that, to change the outlook and how society looks at these dogs. It's almost like a miracle to see a pit bull walking around, you know, and just good around people. Well, they've always been good around people. The hard part about these dogs is them being around other dogs. That's where the problem comes in at. Because he might be a good dog, but what if the other dog ain't going to act right? All of a sudden, you know, it's a no-win situation because the dog should have been under control. But then again, there's certain things that these dogs have in them that we have no control over. And if you really want to start breeding for gameness, and I'm talking about breeding for gameness, because not every dog in any litter is game. And we stand on that because we knew this. Not everything on our yard made it. It was game as shit. Gotta understand, some of the dogs that we had, like Maytu, good dog, could go, but he did not make the team. But one damn thing for sure, he was game as hell. That part we knew. How could he produce it? I had no idea because we wasn't really worried about that at that point. Remember, he had another little mate brother was out here, he got out there acting nuts. Come from a litter of nuts. But we know he was game as hell. So we don't tell you that just to be saying it. When we say it because we've seen it. We know what it looks like. That's why we don't throw around that game shit by just looking at papers and all that other shit. I always felt that if you're going to really know how game your dog is, let's put them in that situation and let them show you. I mean, the definition definitely states it. It's not something
that shit ain't game.
Right. It's just not. Those are the things when I talk about a dog being game. I'm not going to see gameness in a pedigree. I'm going to trust when we talk about gameness that we're all talking about the same thing. Now, is there different levels to this gameness? That's my point. That's where I think the argument falls in once we understand the true definition of gameness. We all got to be on the same page of that. Even for the modern day, doing the right thing. Same thing holds true for you. The only way you're going to find out, bruh, is you're going to have to put it to the test and do it. You're going to be able to see for yourself. Whether it's climbing that wall or running on that mill or pulling some damn weights. The ability to get beyond that and it's in there, they're going to do it. Your purpose is different than ours. Our purpose comes with just a little bit more extreme. Being able to maintain and do those things, is you got to take your hat off to dogs that you don't have to train to do that. And that is why the American Pitbull Terrier has become as popular as it has, even with the bad publicity that they get. You still see people loving those dogs. So the loyalty part of it, remember, there's just so much that comes with this dog, and eating on people is never the issue. But when you start talking about that gameness, throwing them around to sell puppies and shit like that, when I talk about gameness, I talk about like dogs like the Queen of Heart or the dogs like the Brat. I mean, how would we ever know how game Brat was? We could never find out. We couldn't really ever tell you how game Buck Rogers was. Because we never seen nothing take them to that limit to see what it looked like. See, those are dominant dogs, so you don't hear us running around and be talking about game ass Brad or game ass Buck Rogers. We'll hear us talk about game ass Roger Ramjet. You hear me talk about game ass Psycho. But you won't hear me call Dusty game. There's a reason why. I never understood how do you quit on top. You know? Stand there. Maybe, but again, it was still over damn near 2:30. We still looked at her a certain type of way. But then Mo wasn't as good as he was. That was early when Dusty lost. But as as we learned along the way, that was like a lesson learned, because maybe that wasn't on Dusty. Maybe that was on us. We let her stay there too long. We didn't interact with her to keep her mind on what she was doing. Back then, we called it taking a break. We well over 2 hours, so this is how this is gonna be. Then it was controversy because Mo wanted to actually snatch her, but he couldn't because they said the dog had Dusty's foot in her mouth. But she really wasn't biting on that. Nor what Mo know now. Mo would have snatched him anyway. Thing is, that dog wasn't in hope. Back then, he was scared to grab her ass. But in the long run, that was his point. And then when it ended up like that, we knew then, okay, there's so much that we could have did that we didn't know better. But then, who do you blame, us or the dog? Well, for that night, the dog got blamed. But as you get older, you learn. Because I think that's where the advantage came in as we got older. Because it became an advantage at that point. That's why I'm saying Mo's a great dog trainer. Now he can just, all right, slow it down. He built that relationship. It's a part of his conditioning program, his dog raising program. But with all that going on, you think he ain't going to test the game part of it? It ain't going to be with no flirt pole. It ain't going to be hanging off, the spring thing. For us, we had good dogs on the yard. And that we didn't have on the yard, we wouldn't suck, we had to see. But for us, that's why we try to have where we didn't have to go off our yard. And just to put it to the test, we didn't have to go off our yard. We checking shit on the yard, and we seeing some of the shit we seeing. Yeah, we didn't have no problems getting shit together, going out whooping other people's ass. Because now, why keep beating up on our shit when we can go beat up on other people's shit? But everything that came about that yard that made it out there, it had been tested. Now, how game it was, we knew we had a better chance of finding that out once we got out there, because at this point, now we taking it that you game as hell anyway, and you got the ability to be out here, do what you do. Now, can this dog handle what we done bought in here? But we ain't out there testing no game. We ain't coming out there to be testing the dog's game anyway. It's going to be on you. It ain't going to be on us. And for the times that we have been tested, that what we had to put in that time wasn't a factor. And in the end, the results stayed the same. We were just on, you on a better dog, but that don't stop what's coming. But you see, there's a difference based on we looking at what we seeing and we using what we see. I'm pretty sure if we was out there getting our ass whooped, we wouldn't be talking about a whole bunch of shit. But we had so much confidence that we knew, give a damn. You want to know some game shit? Only way you're going to find out if you keep doing what we doing right here. The gameness is going to be on the motherfucker. It's going to put that gameness to the test. And I'm telling you, it's going to take a bad motherfucker to put that dog's gameness to the test. And we be on that. Because those type of dogs, when they are put to the test, 99% of them win. Because that's a bulldog. That's a game-ass bulldog. Get over all obstacles, everything. Regardless of what time it is. That's gameness, gentlemen. The only way you're going to be able to really tell me a dog is game is you see it for yourself. Damn what somebody else tell you. Because they're throwing the word game American Pitbull Terrier around like they just all like that, and they ain't. Let's keep it real. On you, Mo. Turn this over to Mo. Let him get busy on this right quick.
What up, everybody? What's the poll looking like, Mike?
We got 78 people who have voted so far. Appreciate everybody who's voting out there. To all my people on the back street, drop in and put in a vote, man. I know what I'm looking at here. I got all them people out there. Drop in. Hit that. You can't go wrong. Trust me. We got 80 at this point. Again, can the American Pitbull Terriers gameness be measured? We have 74% that said yes, and 26% that said no. Thanks for everybody voting. Keep voting out there. Keep voting. It's not a right or wrong answer.
I would like to know some comments on the 20% though. You know, at 20%, that would be that's you know, that would be a good conversation. You know, games can't be measured. That's what 20% of the people say. Gameness cannot be measured. Either you're game or you're not. Which has some truth to it. That's why it's not a wrong or right answer to that question. But again, let's think on the 20%. It says gameness is not measurable. Okay, there's not levels to gameness. Let's make all the dogs quit. The new the definition for a dog that quits, regardless of when or where or how long, is classified occur. Okay, any dog that quits. We including even the dog that's being abused. And what I mean when I say a dog being abused is somebody who really should be picking up a dog who's put in all he can put in, and let's be logical about it and be honest about it. I've seen those kind of dogs that showed all the gameness in the world, but they weren't dead game because they didn't die scratching, that they took the preservation of life over death and was pushed to a limit where they weren't and they couldn't defend themselves, yet was left down because their owner left them there to be bit on, mauled on, destroyed. Opportunity come, his turn to go. Why should he go? So he gets the stamp, Cur. He got beat up so bad that there's no need for him to scratch. He decides that it's enough. And he saved his own life. After all the scratches that he gave, after all the times that he laid there getting murked on, and his owner still refused to pick him up. There's no need to pick him up. He lost already. So I'm going to leave him there. And he leaves him there till the dog decides to save himself. Automatically gets the curse sign. Some of them can stand on all fours. Some of them can go out and take 4 or 5 steps and stand there and then fall out. But regardless, we have to put the word cur on it because that dog did not complete a scratch. Not the fact that he couldn't scratch. The fact that he had the ability to scratch. Whether he decided to take and save himself or he decided to take the steps to make the effort to do it and get counted out trying. He still got counted out. He's still considered a cur. If he didn't make it, even though he tried, at some point the trying mean he came up short. You can't get him and put him in the gray line now. You got to put him where he belongs. He hit the floor. He couldn't get up. Regardless of whether he wanted to get up. He didn't get up. He's still a cur, like all the other ones. Okay, now those are the matches. Them's the dogs in those situations and matches. Let's talk about the roles. Let's talk about the ones that never even make it. Let's talk about made to. Why not made to? Because made to was put on one of the baddest dogs on the yard. Because he was a bad dog himself. He was going in the stifles, chewing up shit. Deep South swear they could have made him a grand champion. But that day, he was the bottom dog. He was the dog in trouble. And you already know what we say about dog in trouble on Going Hard's yard. A dog in trouble on our yard is never going to be a match dog. And since he's in trouble, we might as well see if he game. He's in trouble. This is not the time to look for us to save you, buddy. This is the time for us to decide whether you're going to make it back to the chain or not. And that we never waver from, that we have never changed. Ever since I left Red Ace in Puerto Rico, that was a Going Hard stamp. That all dogs will go through that, regardless. If you lose on this yard, you will be tested before you ever make it back to that chain space. Because that's open space once you go down. Because we cannot use you. Dogs that we use, they gamers get tested in matches. In matches. Those dogs that get picked up and make it back to the chain space, made it back to the chain space, we can call that dog game. We can call that dog game. Because we're never going to do what we did to that dog ever again. As long as he's on that yard, he will never have to go through that ever again. As long as he's on our yard. Because we already seen the best of him. Because we're going to do something that nobody else will do. Because they'll spend their money for him and won't take him as far as we would. Because we didn't have nothing to lose. We had a lot to gain if he can make it back to that chain space. But we're going to make damn sure. Because at this point in time, that this test is beginning, you're losing. You're getting smashed. We don't take dogs on the bottom out and match. So how game is he? How much beating, how much work can this dog take on and still scratch for us? Let's find out. And when we were convinced that he was game enough to be on that chain, we saved him. Not saved him before he quit. Because any signs, any indications that a dog is going to quit, then guess what? Messing with us, he's going to quit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's going to quit.
We're going to see it.
We're going to see it. No, we're not going to save your ass. No. It's the slightest sign. You've been tagged. That chain space could be up for rent. You're going to give it down how you bred. That's just not even making it to the box. You hear some guys say, well, I put my dog down. I should be able to take my dog right off the chain and roll him, and he's supposed to give me 30 minutes, whether he hog fat or, skinny as hell. He's supposed to show me gameness. If he can't show me nothing else. Okay, so let's take your fat ass dog out there and let's go roll his fat ass. And about 15 minutes in, his fat ass done got tired. His fat ass done got winded. His fat ass is laying on the floor. He can't get up. He's too tired to get up. But he's coming out the corner. Now we got to sit here for the next 15 minutes now and do what here? Make him quit? Giving you guys something to think about before you go with all y'all, intellectual thinking. What are we going to do with this one? Huh? Somebody need to tell me what we're going to do with it. His fat ass is sitting over here making me look bad. What you going to say? I'm going to take some of this weight off on him. I'm going to match him anyway. Well, you think you should have been thinking about taking this weight off on him before you wanted to put him to such a test? If he game, he should be able to go 30 minutes. But never considering the fact his big fat ass has been sitting on the chain eating good. You know what I'm saying? You're going to blame it on him because he's looking bad. Because once he running hot, he ain't going to be worth a damn. At all. You got to worry about the next 15 minutes because somebody told you got to text your shit. You got at least got to go 30 minutes when you get him off the chain. Who believes that bullshit? Come on. I'm ready to argue with the motherfucker that told y'all that shit. Because you ain't going to tell me he going to get me to understand the scenario I'm giving you now. Or what if you go in there and put your shit on somebody like Buck Rogers in the brat? He comes right in getting just poof. Now we got 15 more minutes of this shit. Because he getting smashed. But he got to stay there. And he ain't that. But he got a motherfucker on his ass. You gonna tell me you gonna leave that motherfucker there 15 more minutes? You gonna make him quit because he gonna do one or the other. He gonna try to preserve himself, or you gonna do the right thing and see all you need to see and say that's enough. If this motherfucker can come off this motherfucking line and scratch after all this, I'm taking him home. I wouldn't give a damn if it was 20 minutes in. How much can he take with you standing there, being a true dog man, and not an embarrassed one or egotistic one? How much are you going to put this dog through, and when do you know it's the right time to get it? The right time to get him is when he give up. When he give up. While he's getting murked. He's laying there to die. Because he did all he could do. He can't do no more. Now he just laying there. What you gonna do with that? How long you gonna let him stay there? How many scratches do he need to give you in that condition to classify that dog as a game dog and pick him up? Are you gonna be too ashamed to pick him up because you really thought you was expecting to come in here and watch him kick somebody else's ass? But it's yours that got put down? Did you feel embarrassed enough to the point you let your ego take over and don't care about the dog no more? Even though he's down to get smashed, he done gave up on everything. Now the dog is mauling him and it's still a roll. You can't say, man, let me get him and let me check him and see if he can come back. No, you so stuck into this shit here in that world there, where your ego and your embarrassment or what you're looking at takes over and you lose respect for the dog. Because you actually lost respect for yourself when you let the dog stay there because of your egotistic, embarrassing way of feeling about the situation you in. Yet the whole time you didn't took this dog and scratched him 3 times. Or most of the time they don't get a chance to scratch the dog 1 time. They just stand there and just sit there and let the dog just get mauled. Now you got to pick him up and hang him up and hold him between the legs and stand him on his feet and let him go. Now you got to stumble across there. But at least you left enough in him to do that. You left enough in him to do that. When are you going to use your head as a human being that's supposed to be smarter than the dog to realize how much more do you want out of your dog? It has nothing to do with your ego. It has nothing to do with you feeling embarrassed because you didn't walk into this fight today to see this. You went and bought this dog here thinking it was going to be his dog that's in this situation. But now that you're facing it, how do you handle it? How do you grade your gameness on your yard? Is it based on egotistic value? On the way it makes you feel? Are you embarrassed that your dog is getting his ass kicked? Are you embarrassed enough to let your dog sit there and take that punishment for nothing? It's over. There's no way he's going to win. And this is the road. We ain't got to the match. This is the game test of all game tests. Twin, how long you going to leave A2 down there? Long enough to know, y'all, that we all going to agree this dog is game. Because what we're going to see today, only a fool will put in what I'm putting him through. Because I might lose him. You see what I'm saying? Any dog that make it back to my chain space earned it. And he earned it knowing that I'm never going to match that dog. And I'm getting a chance to see this and get the answers to any question that I need prior to matching a dog. That's why when we match a dog, we're so hard to beat. Because dogs that we're matching, their gameness has not been tested. Their gameness has not been tested. We never get to those. We go looking for that out there. We always go looking for that out there because what we do at home, if you can make it through home, believe me, we're going to make sure if there's any gameness to be tested, we're going to find it out there on the circuit. Come and beat this shit. Come and put this shit down and put me in the situation that this dog here put many dogs on the yard just to get to this place. Just to get to this place. Some didn't make it back to the chain. But those who did can say they went good with this dog here and it was good enough to make it back on the chain. And to be able to make it through a dog like Pretty Mama and Brat and Buck Rogers and the shit and Twisted Nico, Yellow Day, Psycho, to get past those dogs there. Many dogs, it could have been match dogs. Could have been match dogs. And I can't say all dogs made it through the test because we had dogs to stop. But you don't never hear us talking about those dogs to stop. You know why? Because it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. They're not on the yard. We don't even remember who they are. Because they're not relevant dogs, but all the dogs who made it back on the chain. Those dogs that couldn't do that much ain't shit to me. So why do I need to talk about something that's irrelevant? Talk about the dogs who met Brat that did make it back on the chain. Talk about the dogs like Maytu who made it back on the chain. Dogs like Bucko made it back on the chain. These dogs went through a lot to make it back on that chain because I don't have nothing to lose. Earthquake, which was Maytoo's brother, he was better than Maytoo. Maytoo was not the match dog. He was a match dog because he had that back stifle shit. But so did Yellow Day. So did Yellow Day. And he just got the better end. Everybody else fell to the pressure. Only dog on the yard that could have got what Maytoo was probably Yellow Day or Buck Rogers. And Buck Rogers wasn't big as Maytoo. Yellow Day was the perfect size. But this is the kind of stuff that where we say gameness. We talking about gameness in rows. Gameness in a row where a dog can't even make it out the yard and still be game and sitting on the chain. You know what I'm saying? That's a level right there. You know where the fuck I'm going to take this dog right here and compare it to a dog that's out there doing an hour and 30. And ended up quitting. Okay? And an hour 30. Yet, I got a dog on the chain that didn't even go that long and made it back on the chain showing gameness. So let's go look at this hour 30 dog. Did his owner have a chance to pick him up? Or did this dog stop and quit standing on all fours after an hour 30 minutes? He took the preservation of life and decided that I got enough. I'm going to always give that dog respect over that dog that was lucky enough to make it through a game test on the yard sitting on that chain, because that dog is not a match dog. That dog ain't a match dog. That dog right there was a match dog that quit in an hour and 30. And I put that dog over any other shit you got sitting on your yard that you claim game. Because he could probably stop every one of that shit that you got. That one-time losing ass cur that quit after an hour and 30 minutes of fighting will kill that game shit that you got sitting on your chain that caused yourself making it through a game test. And I say that speaking on my own yard. I say that speaking on my own yard. Maytoo, you couldn't even get out there to get tested. Nigga, shut up. You see what I'm saying? Maytoo probably would have got out there and stopped his ass too. If he didn't have the talent the Yellow Day had, that's what probably got his ass in trouble. He was just game enough to stay there, but was he really ever in the fight? Nope. No. He was on a dog that was just so much better than him. Now it's just a matter, is the dog going to stop him or is the dog going to kill him? If he's going to be game, the dog is going to kill him. If the dog is going to take the choice of being preserve himself, being his owner ain't trying to preserve him, he'll stand there and quit. Say, I'm done. I don't even want to go over there no more. But don't you dare call that motherfucker a cur while you got that game ass dog sitting on your yard to show that he's got all the gameness in the world. But he still ain't good enough to be able to go an hour and 30 like this cur. This hour and 30 minute cur. Or this 2 hour cur. Or this 3 hour cur. We're going to label all the dogs that quit curs. Let's just not make that an argument and let's stop it for what it is. But I'm going to still take this cur and talk shit about your game ass shit that couldn't even make it out there to put $1 on his ass. And if you dare try to, he'd be just like that hour 30 cur. Or he'd be a dead game dog. You know, come to them two choices. Anything in between, that's bullshit. Compare the two. Compare the two. Compare the two. No, I'm not giving the respect for that shit at home on the chain. Not when you can't get out there and do what the Warriors are doing. This game was built on them, not the ones sitting on the damn on the chain. He could be on the chain game as hell and produce nothing but great dogs. He'll become great that way. And we'll always be able to say he was game his damn self. But this damn 1 hour, 30-minute dog producing grand champions. Look at all that Boudreaux shit. One-time winner, one-time loser. Look at all that Boyle shit. 4-time winner, 1-time loser. I ain't say game loser. I said loser. But they out here producing shit. So somewhere in there, this Kerr made it home. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I'll still pick his ass over that game shit that you never be able to bring to the box, but always sitting there bragging about how game he is. He game is shit. But is he game enough to make it out there and put that damn bill on his head? Where it costs a bill for his gamers to be tested? No. He couldn't even make it that far. So respect those dogs that do. Don't ever forget about those dogs that do what your dog couldn't do. Maytu couldn't do that because he didn't make the team to do that. Is he a great producer? Damn right he was a good producer. His shit gets stopped. I ain't known one to get stopped yet. Not a one of them. Now the son out there, or a dog out there that I know of that's off of Maytu or any other going hard dog that's been matched, they have their losses. But Maytu, no. Bred, no. Sassy girl, no. Baby, no. No losers. No losers. You know, but they all quit. Out of 50-some dogs in all those matches, we had 7 that quit. 7 losses that the dogs quit. But that's out of 117 matches. 117 matches with 7 dogs, 7 times, you know, you got dogs in there that quit. You got 7 matches that the dogs were picked up game. And you got 7 matches that the dog quit. It tells you a lot when you start putting the numbers on top of that. So we're talking about a high percentage of game dogs out of that other 110 to 114 dogs that matches that were wins. Are we dealing with game dogs or are we dealing with killers? Well, in some cases, the killers had to show their true game. It's because a few of them had to win their championships the hard way. You can tell. Some of them had their, careers cut short for those hard matches that they had to stand up. Because in this game of competition, that's why we have champions and grand champions going into champions and 2-time winners even going into champions. It's the sport. That's what it is. That's where the game was built on. The game was built on the match dogs. Damn that shit, y'all believing in this paper shuffle shit. When you got papers on every damn dog that you breed, if you're really doing the paper game. And y'all know what I'm saying here. Now, you know where I'm at with this. I am on the bus. I'm pretty sure Mike loaded y'all up and bought you there. Because I'm the drill instructor just standing there, making sure you got your dogs, your pens and paper, and you're on the yellow footprints, understanding where you're at. And where you're at, imagine you in my world, standing here holding your dog, and you bring your papers with you. And let's look at back here, where do you stand on this yellow line with me in my world? You know how many times I done sat back and watched yards get ran through. Get damn near ran right out of the game. Because they keep trying. They keep trying. You know what I'm saying? I mean, check the feeling. We got this dog. You've been breeding, he's been talking, grew up, muscular puppy, growing up, right attitude. Get a little older, man, he's gonna be the shit. By the way, I'm gonna breed him a couple times before I do him. I got to get some puppies off of this motherfucker. Then comes showtime. You got the work in him. You got him looking good. Matter of fact, you done ran into a competitor. He ain't scared of you and your good looking dog. So you got him hooked. Okay? 30 minutes in. Usually that's what happens to the greenhorns. The new guys who really don't know what a real match dog going into some steep competition really supposed to look like. You know, a lot of that shit was based on your way of thinking and the build-up that you blew this dog's head up in your own head. You're seeing something and calling something out that usually most green guys, they see so many, you know, they get a chance to see matches. They really kind of build their dogs into this imaginary dog that he really ain't. And his ego and his temptation to prove a point brings him to the point that he'll take that imaginary dog that he think he's really looking at that looks all great, get out there and go womp, womp, womp. Now you got to go home in the morning and go out there and feed the yard. And you look out there and you see all that shit that you bred to that motherfucker, off that motherfucker. And be like, damn. You know, and now you got to go right back in there and reprogram your brain to psych yourself up and go find the next pretty ass motherfucker off here. Now, it's that equipment. I'm going to tell you, this one right here is a showed up because I bred it to this bitch and this bitch right here bred to him. I'm telling you, going to change that shit. And we're going to start all over again. And you're going to make that shit work. Or you're going to tippy toe with that shit. It's either going to tame you or it's going to encourage you. Either way, you're going to learn. If that motherfucker look like that and he can't win without quitting, and you done got rid of him and you got a yard of that shit at home, before you bet $1 on that damn dog. Learn your first mistake with the first dog you went out there and lost with. That dog right there you should never forget about, because that dog lost because of your imaginary thinking about what you thought that dog was and he really wasn't. A lot of these guys back then, them young guys always screaming and hollering, I got the dog. I mean, there's a lot of little guys, young guys out there, and they could be grown man, old man, young man, you know, young to the game. They really thought that they could really come out there and make an impact. And in some circles you can. But if you're in a circle full of sharks, like I came in a circle full of sharks, had good dogs and was still losing. Losing. Like Dusty. You know what I'm saying? Like judo. These are the things that I'm telling you. How did I get to this point? How did I get to the mind frame that, you know, matching dogs is the key to show what I really got? But I got to make sure before I go out here and match these dogs that I do the homework while it's free. I got to check this shit out before I start putting money on this shit. I got to make sure. And what's the best way to make sure? I don't need to be going to Bobo yard because I think every dog in my yard can kill his shit. And if I got a friend that's raising some dogs and he's trying to do a line, me and him, if we going to be testing each other's shit, it's going to become a time that he's going to probably get tired of my killers killing his shit. He's not getting nothing out because only the killers make it on my yard. Their gameness is never tested. It has to be tested from the box. Imagine me playing in your yard with my dogs with that attitude, knowing that I'm checking my shit before I leave the house. Now I'm bringing it to your yard, wanting to check out your shit, that your prospects that you think you got to ready to go out there. And let's get a chance to take a quick peek for free. You see what I'm saying? It got to be done. It got to be done. And if you can't get it done, then guess what? I might as well pay the money and put him out there and let's find out. I'm not going to let it hold me up. I'm not going to waste time trying to find somebody, because once you do that enough with guys around your circle, nobody want to put their shit on that shit. The only one who was putting each other's dogs on shit was us in Deep South and Citrus Kennels. And my my proteges. Everybody else, they was hands off. Did nobody want to bring their shit around there? But those that did, we got a chance to see. I got a chance to see Dum Dum as a puppy. Turned out to be champion Dum Dum. I got a chance to see champion Trina, the one that beat champion Mallory, the 4-time winner, going for a grand championship off of Ajax. I got a chance to see Trina, Dum Dum, Little May sister. I seen her go as a puppy. I seen it's like these are dog men. These are dog men knowing you got killers and they still bringing shit in. Same guys that had Twisted, champion Twisted off of Mayday, and grand champion Luke Kane. And it ain't Natural Born Kennels, and it ain't STP Kennels. It's the guys who's originally had Luke Kane. They have Luke Kane and Twisted. And we did a lot of dogs. Grand champion Max, who lost to Cochise, and now champion Max. I'm sitting there with the littermate. So when we put our dogs on each other, we're on a whole different level. We're on a whole different level. I seen Trina, I seen Dum Dum, and they had a brother that made two, broke his back, like I told y'all before in one of the other shows. These are the kind of dogs we putting on our dogs, because we getting a chance to see this shit for free. Our intentions is to put money on them and win. But let's get a chance to check this shit for free. We ain't in no hurry. We get a chance to really see, what are we looking for? Match dog qualities that can help us win. And nothing going off in my head that's got anything to do with the ego. Ain't nothing going on in my head to make an excuse if this motherfucker quit. I need to know if this dog go win the grand champion buck tomorrow, I got a chance. If I'm going to be putting my money on it. Remember, I learned my lesson chasing a champion when I went out to Tommy Boy. But I seen all I could see, and I think I felt like I deserved to go after that bitch. Regardless of what Red Ace did, I knew what I took over to Puerto Rico, and she wasn't the dog that I got when I got there. But the fact is, I went. Something I saw, there wasn't no illusion, but I felt that I can go over there and whip that 4-time winner that was killing shit, and the longest she been was 22 minutes. And I'm bringing out a first-time out dog. What did I see that made me feel like I could do that? But that's the match game. What is that mentality that we using? What do we call game? What do we call game? We're going to give respect to everything that happens in the box, because the dog game was built in the box. Breeders produce what we need to win in the box. Without a good breeder or a good breeding line, because those are the only things to go inside the box and make the history of the American Pitbull. Basically, plain and simple, that's a fact. Understand that. I wouldn't give a damn if he was a 5-time winner and he quit in 40 minutes. He's still a 5-time winner it's occurred. Do we disrespect the 5 dogs that he beat? Well, what if 3 or 4 of them dogs was champions? Do we disrespect those champions that lost to him? And then we look at those champions and don't give them respect for the people that they beat? Do we just take this shit and just start going all the way back, questioning some shit? Or do we stay right there where the fuck we belong? The moment. That day right there, give it down what he was beating, give it down who he whooped. This day, he lost. He lost by quitting. Take nothing away from the dog. Respect the dog. Because it took a bulldog to do that. It took a bulldog to do it, and that's what competition is. Plain and simple. It's the truth. The truth. Damn what he was winning. Today, he ran across that dog to pull his card. And today, he quit. Today, he went from a great dog to a cur. But do we lose respect for that dog? The only ones that lose respect to such a dog is a person who stands outside the box, who can go around and tell everybody he was there when that dog quit. Yet he can go in his yard and grab one dog to win one fight. But he can go over there and be ready to call everybody that he knows and make sure everybody knows that he was standing there when this dog quit. See what I'm saying? It's usually that person right there. There's usually a few of those who don't understand the game enough to respect that dog and who that dog was the day he did quit. And what dog was that to put him in that situation to why he quit. I think on any given day in the right dog, they'll all quit. Right situation, they'll all quit. Preservation of life, if he's a smart dog and he's a real smart dog, I guarantee you he's smart enough to preserve life. Guarantee that. Egos and embarrassment is what causes good dogs to quit because their owner give up on them. Their owners don't care about them regardless of how many times they scratch. They lost their money. That dog has very little value to them because they're on an ego trip and they know they done lost. And the only thing they can hope for now is that maybe this dude will foul out or maybe, they'll make a mistake and this dog walk away from my dog. And the guy who's sitting up there sending his dog in on this hopeless dog and helpless dog, he's going to do everything in his power to make sure his dog either kill him or he's going to keep on grabbing his dog, getting the handles until he either make your dog quit or make your dog and put your dog in a position that he can't scratch. One or the other. It's going to be an outcome of one of those two. Because either preservation of life is going to kick in or he's going to be scratching until he can't scratch no more. And if he had the ability to scratch, he probably would scratch. But you took all the scratches he had out of him. He have no more. He's not going to make it to 10. What do you call that dog? He didn't pick him up. He didn't beat the count. He just couldn't go. What do we call him? What do we call him? How many scratches did he take? We took 7 before that happened. He just couldn't go no more. What do we call him? He lost. We can't call him game. He didn't beat the clock, so why should we call him game? Or he just couldn't go. Or because he fell out. He didn't baby crawl. He didn't nose crawl. He didn't do anything but fall out. What title do we give him? We can't call him game. It says the adversity in the situation. Am I right, Mike?
Right.
Okay? So he has to fall in the category of the curve. He didn't make the count. And he didn't get picked up. We don't need to hear your excuses of why and this is what happened shit. He didn't make the count. He couldn't go. That's not a problem. What you didn't tell me is he scooted. What you didn't tell me is he was on all fours flat out, taking his paw and just pushing himself while he was getting counted out. You didn't say that. You said he just couldn't go no more. So you gotta learn where we're gonna put that at. How do we grade that gameness? How do you take him home? What you gonna do when you get him there? You gonna put him back together and always use the line, hey, he couldn't go. Yeah, he lost. He lost game. He just couldn't go no more. Well, how did he lose game if he didn't go no more? How did he lose? Did he get counted out? Yeah, he got counted out. He got counted out. So that means basically he couldn't go. That's almost like he stopped. If you don't go, you sure didn't go. You didn't go. It was on you to go, and you did not go. You got stopped because you could not continue. Period. You didn't make the count. So take the red stamp that we use for curs and stamp him to cur. So for all you guys that want to grab them ones that got picked up off of very game scratches and their owners loved their dogs enough or respected the fact that there was no way for them to win, and they have that understanding and care for their dog to know when it's time to pick up, like I knew when it was time to pick up May2, where there's not too much more he need to show me when it comes to heart. It's the same situation if I'm in a match and I'm getting ready to lose. I cannot win, and my dog is no way going to come back. I'm going to do him like I did May2 before I pick up this dog. I'm going to leave him down there and see how game he is. Like I do all the dogs at home that don't make it to make it back to the chain, he would be no different. And if he can do what those dogs did in a match, even though I lost my money, I'm picking my shit up. Because I can't win. And he didn't show me his game. He got hard. And I'm going to be able to go home and put his ass on the chain if he makes it. That I call game. But he's a different gameness than May2. He was treated the same way as May2. But we're on a different class there, May2. You still you didn't make it to the box. He did. Did the same thing you did, but guess what? He made it to the box. Now you're going to tell me I'm supposed to grade them the same, even though they did the same thing in the end. He still, right here, was able to do what May2 couldn't do, and that was at least make it to the box. Was it because he was on Yellow Day, and Yellow Day put him in a compromising situation that could have happened in the box, like this could have happened to this dog, but you put him on Yellow Day twin? It's the same thing as putting him on the match dog that this dog went in there and matched and did the same thing. But that's the point. That's the point. This dog made it to the box to prove a point. That's the point. Regardless of what May2 did, this was a match dog. They did the same thing as May 2 in a match. He got picked up game, made it home to go back on the chain. They got more respect for his accomplishments on our yard than May 2. May 2 got his respect from producing dogs, guys. May 2 didn't get his respect for his gameness. I never looked at him like that, and the only reason I bred May 2 and started breeding May 2 because I was getting out of dogs. Prior to that, everybody would tell you Twin did not breed May 2 until he was going to get out of dogs. And then he bred them to all everybody, and he was selling bitches full of May 2 puppies. Why? Remember, I bred May 2 back to bred. Why? Because I had no reason not to. What made me hold back on it was the fact that I match dogs, people. And I'm going to always pick a match dog. Well, I got to pick him up game or he's continuing to win. He's going to have always the upper level of gameness, upper level of appreciation on a going hard yard compared to any dog that never got past first base. Give it down how game they was. They never got past first base. I'm going to always respect a match dog over anything else on that yard. Anything else. Think about the Gator dog that went 3 hours and 17 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes of full-blown, all-out war. Blow for blow, punch for punch. Matter of fact, I'm fighting Ali, and I'm Joe Frazier. That's what it was like. Ali tagging the shit out of me. But I'm swinging, still boloing. But after a while, you can't run but so long if I'm still here. I'm still here. You ain't knocked me out. You ain't stopped me. You ain't done shit yet. At the 2.5 hour mark, I'm trying to save us both. You want to see the victory because it seems like you feel like you're ahead. And you're probably right. You're a little faster than me. But me, I'm seeing an all-out war. And these two dogs was two badass dogs to do this shit for 2.5 hours and have everybody on their feet. I mean, no slowing down nowhere in this shit for 2.5 hours. No stopping, no laying around, no turns, no nothing. They just locked in, swinging. And I'm talking about they was biting. For what we had on the table, man, let's get these dogs and go home. And we probably come back later when we got them both as grand champions. Because these two here, can't nobody be able to stand this shit that we seeing tonight. This shit was better than Jeep and Homer. This shit was better than Buck and Sandman. Because this was an all-out war. A fast-paced, all-out war. For 2.5 hours. Nobody taking a break. Couldn't afford it. Wouldn't nobody let each other, they wouldn't let each other take a break. It was an all-out war. But it didn't take 2.5 hours, another 2.5 hours to come to a conclusion either. If we don't get this done right now, we're not going to make it. This is the time for us to be able to take these dogs and save them. They both fucked up. They both have finally started slowing down at 2.5 hours. And they both are very damaged dogs. And both of them are definitely, we ain't doing no scratching, ain't no turns, ain't no out of hopes. We at a place right now that we can get these dogs and call it a draw. And have a tomorrow. Because anybody else, I don't think I'm going to find another person who got a dog like this out there. That's what got us to where we was at. They already won up in Chicago with their dog. Already. Me, I'm coming out knowing that I know I'd be a 2-time winner. That's why I ended up daring the dude trying to sneak me, because I beat his 2-time winner. Stopped him in 15 minutes with this dog. Yeah, I'm watching 2 hours and 2.5 hours. I'm watching two killers killing each other. We don't know if they both game. We ain't got to the game part yet. We still in a fucking war. Are we telling because they fought like that hard for 2.5 hours they were game? Are we even discussing gameness yet? Did we put gameness in that 2.5 hours of all-out war? Without a turn, without an out of hope, without a nothing for 2.5 hours? As a matter of fact, there was not a turn or out of hope for 3 hours and 15 minutes before the first turn came. No out of hope. It was a turn in 3 hours and 15 minutes. What do we do with this? What do we do with it? Do we give these dogs game dogs? Were these game dogs doing all this damage and all this destroying and all this great ass fighting that made it a classic match? Do we give these dogs the title of game dog at 2 hours and 30 minutes? Then what did we give them at 3 hours? Still no turns are out of hope. They're slowing down now. Are we dealing with game dogs? At 3:17, he quits. At 3 hours 17, he quits. It didn't even make a scratch. Without only scratching the match was us scratching the win. Only scratching the match was us scratching the win. At 3 hours and 17 minutes. But at 3 hours and 15 minutes, when that turn was called, he was already protesting. We knew we had already got him. We knew there was no more fight. The fight was over at 3 hours. For the next 15 minutes, we was looking at one dog that was going for the finish and the other dog who had gave up. And along with him giving up, his owner gave up, which only made it worse. Because once the dog, since he gave up, he gave up. And he finally turned. Because he was definitely losing. He was definitely losing. And I really believe the dog realized that his owner gave up on him and that he was by himself. Because that was the first time in 3 hours and 15 minutes that this dog never took his head away from the fight. I call that a game dog. But when he quit, he falls in the category of every other dog that don't scratch. He stood there, he's a cur. But let me remind you, I'm not going to take this 3 hours and 17-minute cur and compare him to a damn dog that showed gameness on the yard just to make it back to the chain. I'm not going to do it. I would have took that gator dog and bred that son of a bitch if I could have kept him alive. If I would have brought that dog home, I'd have brought that cur home. Me, I'd have been glad to bring him home. And he would have just been a one-time loser who quit at 3 hours and 17 minutes. That's right. 3 hours and 17 minutes. Let me tell you about that dog. Dog died right along with my dog. But that same dog our little May sister bred to May to. That same dog our little May sister was bred to May to that produced a whole line of killers. Look at that. Brick and carnivore. And out of them dogs, carnivore got taken when they took my dogs. But Brick, wasn't too witty. One of them was against Mr. Link. Produced some good dogs. Some of the last stuff we made to is bred with double bred Mayday, Stone City, and double bred Gator, Crenshaw's Gator. If the dog was double bred Gator that I beat that night. But I'll take that 3 hours, 17 minute cur home. Because guess what? I guarantee you, y'all couldn't whoop his ass. If I'd have brought that dog up and brought him on his feet and saved that dog, I'd have went back out there and won 4 or 5 more with him. And I know it. Because I'd have took Psycho out there with all the confidence in the world and knowing, glad to test my shit. I don't run from shit. I go after shit. Why would I not go after shit? Because I know everybody's not going to throw 3 hours and 17 minutes and put this dog in that kind of a fight. Because everybody else that put him in that kind of fight, he destroyed anyway. He couldn't destroy Dum Dum, and Dum Dum went on to win his championship very easily. Dum Dum was young. But this is telling y'all what kind of dogs these were. When nobody looking at no damn pedigree, sitting over here looking at these dogs, expecting to see what we seeing. No, we looking at the dogs down on damn papers. I don't even think the papers even mattered until after it was all over with. I didn't even care about how Psycho was bred, knowing he was half brothers than Mayday. He was Mayday's half brother. He was off the dolly. He didn't make it. Do we call him game? I call both of them game. I just so happened to be the winner. I'd have took them both. And yes, I would have bred his ass. He just been a one-time loser like them Boudreaux dogs. Why? Why not? Between you breeding the cur, I would breed a 3 hour, 17 minute cur that went with me in that fight right there. Hell yeah, I'll bred him. Hell yeah, I'm looking forward to having something off of him. Because I don't believe you got nothing on your yard to ever taking 3 hours and 17 minutes. That's what I believe. I don't believe there was too many other dogs that would have did what I did with that dog. And there would have been too many dogs that would have did to me what that dog did to me. And we had a bad motherfucker. And both of them badass dogs went 3 hours, 17 minutes. You're not going to compare. I'll take the name Cur and breed the hell out of it. But that's a different level of cur. I accept the cur. But I can guarantee you, he ain't game, he ain't dead game, that's for damn sure. He ain't no dead game dog. But the fight that dog put up, he put in all he could put in. He gave everything he had. And it didn't have to come to a turn. It didn't have to come to a scratch. He had to put it all on the line for 3 hours and 15 minutes. Without none of the above. I'll take that and breed it any day. Yeah, he'll cur. But what you feed? And how many of you guys will sit there and say, Twin, take a car on, Twin, take a car. Well, let me tell you something. I can guarantee you, you'll take a car home too. You'll take a cur home too to give you 3 hours and so many minutes, especially in a classic match. When Homer lost, goddamn it, you tried to save him. I'd have took Homer home too. And they slept half the goddamn night. They tried to save Sandman. I'd have took Sandman home. Because they're different level of dogs. They're on different level of dogs than what you feed them. There's nothing out there doing what they're doing. But you're talking about them being encouraged, but what are you feeding? This is why y'all on the bus back here with me. Look at your shit right now and tell me, what do you see? It takes your dog to be able to do that much right there to even consider calling him a cur and bringing him home. But can you get that far? Can you look at your dog without psyching yourself up and seeing this imaginary great dog and look at the truth of the matter? Have you ever seen it or have you ever tested it? Now, how do you know? Do you want to know? Do you care? What is your purpose? See, it always boils back down to the purpose. And where are you at? And who are you with this dog? There's so many things to it. So levels of gameness is still always based on the person who's feeding his shit. Don't talk about the curs over here that you seen. Let's talk about the curs that you feed. How many of these damn dogs are curs? And what level? How far are they going? Are they being matched and losing? And are they losing and quitting? But losing and quitting in a manner that's worthy of a dog that just couldn't beat the dog he was on. Did his owner give him a chance to show his true gameness? Did his preservation of life step in and cause him to quit? Or did his owner push him to that level? And when he had the chance to see all the gameness the dog had, decided to leave him there and not care? All those questions have to be answered when you sit there and you call that dog a cur because he quit. There's questions behind him quitting. A cur is still a cur. But give me a cur that's worthy of being a cur, a game cur. Is there such thing as a game cur? Yes, the fuck it is. Gambling in anything you feed. How many people test that one? How many people want to test that theory? That's a theory that needs to be tested. And you'll see I'm right. Because you don't have nothing you feed and it will go 3 hours and 15 minutes like this dog did. You couldn't beat that dog. Don't think you could. I don't believe you could. Twin, damn, that's saying a lot. Yeah, because we're matching dogs here, buddy. We're not talking about no goddamn pedigree. We're not talking about shit else about how your dog looks. Is he matching this dog? Is he a one-time winner? Is he anything? Then you know what? Guess what? Why didn't you do what we did? I'll use the cur as an example. Why can't you do what that cur did? At least that much. And put him out there and see. He might not never get his game tested. Your dog might not never get his game tested if he's a killer. But what if he ain't? What if he ain't everything you thought he was? How's this dog gonna quit on you? Is he gonna quit on you because you're ego and you're embarrassed that he getting his ass kicked? Or are you gonna be strong enough and love your dog enough to know that you lost the money tonight? This ain't your night. And he gave you all the scratches he can give you. Are you smart enough to take your dog home and feel proud that you are feeding the right dogs? So many dog men don't care because they feed enough dogs that they'll leave them. But what about you? And what about those who just take and breed and do the blow up and be ready to argue the fact that their dog is game? And how many of those do we hear? I had a reputable dog, man, seeing my dog would tell you he game as shit. You know, that's a line that's been around for years. But the reputable dog, man, I can't give you that information of who they are. You see what I'm saying? But he game. Trust me, he game. That's why I bred him to this bitch right here. Look at his pedigree. Look at his pedigree. See what I'm saying? Look at his pedigree. Not the same. That's what you walking in your yard feeding. Pedigrees. But back here in my time, can you take and put that pedigree aside and look at that pretty ass dog and tell me that you can believe that this dog could be that double bred gator dog? He gave you 2 hours and 30 minutes of all out war at a pace that was totally unbelievable. Never seen a pace like that before. Never been into a fight like that, except I've seen anything close to that was Radar and Martell. Anybody who know McNasty, the article story on McNasty is out there, go and read the article. McNasty, with all the great dogs that he had and the dog man that he was, the baddest match he ever seen was Radar Martell. I'm a witness to that fact. The baddest shit that I ever seen outside of what I saw that night that was with my shit and that gator dog. Closest thing I ever seen to that, and it was better than that fight, was Radar Martell. And I'm a witness to that. Because Radar Martell fought like that to the bitter end. Bitter end. And Martell did the exact same thing that that gator dog did. Gave all he had. Gave all he had. He was done. The Eagle, yeah, I think Eagle, because Martell made 2 scratches that I'd have picked him up on. There was 2, I would have picked him up 2 scratches before it got down to him quitting. Because there's not but so much you can give. But Radar was a Radar. Radar scratches never slowed down. Radar was still coming across that goddamn back after 3 hours running like a freight train. Martell was beat down, tired. Radar was beat down. But Radar was Radar. He was focused in and never wavered. And Martell just couldn't stand it. He couldn't stand up to do it no more. And he stood. He was done. Okay, buddy, you won. Imagine a dog that's constantly looking over here at this nutcase, just got this shit look in his eyes, and everybody in the building know why they call him Radar. Everybody in the building is convinced why they call him Radar. And poor Martell then gave everything he got. He can't do nothing. But this is how we grade gameness. Gameness is really up on the beholder of the dog that you are breeding or the dog that you have. You know, there are different levels, but give the respect. Even the curs deserve respect. Go back and look into that Boudreaux shit. Go back and look into all them Bulls dogs with all them losses. And we talking about dogs that got losses and got great dogs coming after they curry asses. So there ain't no damn way you're going to tell me you wouldn't breed a cur. They sure as hell was doing it. And they maybe had good reason, like I would have had good reason to breed that gator dog. But I didn't have enough in me to say red eights. Knowing what I knew. You see what I'm saying? No. I already got shit on the ground. Did you think I was gonna go home and kill my Mayday puppies because she did what she did in Puerto Rico? No. When I got home, I was happy as hell to see them for what I saw she did in Puerto Rico. Why was I so happy to see what I saw in Puerto Rico to be looking forward to those puppies? Because I saw a bitch that I know what she was like before I took her. And I knew what I saw when I got there is definitely what my dog. But because she wasn't my dog, I saw what she did to Tommy. And one thing she showed me why I was there. She know why I bought her. One thing she did do, she showed everybody why she was there. There was a reason why Twin came across the waters with that bitch. And he definitely showing us why. Y'all just better be glad that that bitch wasn't ready. Because if that bitch was ready, Twin would have killed y'all in 15 minutes. Like he did. Y'all just lucky. Because that's what it was. So I came home with the understanding, if I can kill that bitch after what I saw her do being a cur, and then bring her home, or didn't take the chance of somebody taking care of her to make sure she got back to the States. I wasn't willing to do that for her based on something that where I maybe shouldn't have done it anyway. That's just something I'm going to live with. But I'm not bringing home no cur. Not that one. So that sets the standard for every dog that come off my motherfucking yard. If I wouldn't bring that badass bitch home, y'all ain't got a motherfucking chance. And I've always been like that ever since. Any questions for anybody? Anybody got anything? Any comments? I've been doing so much talking, ain't nobody said nothing. I thought it was going to be an interactive thing, but I got caught up. Guys, I want y'all to look at me. Now, you know my brothers has been telling y'all I've been sick. If you've been noticing, do you notice that I'm getting small? Do you notice my face is shrinking in? So my brother tell you I'm sick. I hate him telling y'all I'm sick. I hate him when he tells y'all that. You know, I'll give you everything, but I'm sick. But just to make sure everybody know, you know, my brother, he's going to keep it real with you. I ain't going to keep it real with you because I want y'all to keep scratching me. And sometimes I just don't feel good. Sometimes I don't have the motivation that I used to have because I didn't told you everything. I didn't put it all on the line. I'm still trying to raise Malinois and train Malinois and share my history of dog fighting with you guys. And sometimes it becomes hard because there's a lot of things going on. So for those guys where, you know, y'all be like, Twin, you all right? And, you know, you hear me saying, I'm cool, I'm all right. And then y'all watching the show and one reason y'all asking because Mike's telling you, you know, the reason Twin, my boy ain't even more, he's, you know, he's down, you know, he's sick and, you know, and I don't blame him because he's, you know, we all like family anyway. But as an audience, for those guys that been around, there's a few of you guys that say, Mo, you all right? You know, you starting to look small. Mo, you all right, man? Your face is, you look at your videos from the beginning to the end, man, it look like you getting sick again. Well, sometimes I just can't make it here. Don't mean I'm not scratching. because I'm still here. You know, and Mike will tell you, and he's trying to hold it out, and he's dusting me off, still giving me that motivation to keep scratching. But, you know, he keeps telling y'all the ending is there. It's near. We just don't know when. Because I'm like Psycho. I still can go to the corner and stand, and when you let me go, I'm moving. I wouldn't give a fuck if it's a little stumble. I'm coming. I might not have made a complete scratch, but I'm still here at the show. So I'm completing my scratches. You know, and hopefully, you know, Mike will stop telling y'all when I don't show up that I'm sick. Because I don't want to show up and still look sick. You see what I'm saying? If those who really don't know, you know, you would never, you know, y'all wouldn't know that I'm getting sicker. But those who's been around, they probably tell them Money. You know, we're glad you tell, because he sure do look like he's sick. He look like he's getting small, Money. What you think, Money? What's going on, Money? And Mike is, you know, he's going to tell you. I'm pretty sure, you know, he gets those texts when you see him looking down and he's noticing the show going on, Mo ain't popping up. He's getting called from walking down Ram. He getting Bakari. They all checking in. What's going on with Mo? So he finds it his duty to step out. But the whole time I'm in the chat room lying to y'all. I'm all right. I just got busy. I got a lot of business to take care of. I'm just busy today. I'm just going to sit here and hang out with y'all. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, I am feeling terrible. Yeah, y'all got to get what I can out of me, you know, and run with this shit because it's in the videos. You know, it's going to come a time where, you know, a lot of shit that y'all hear me talking about, y'all going to see again on Facebook, Instagram, and things like that. Little snippets from you know, my time doing this show. And I hope it's enough out there to really give y'all something to enjoy because, you know, a lot of people say, you know, there's a lot of shit in these videos that they think a lot of what I've done for you guys. And the only reason I'm hanging around is to my people in the back street with the night vision. I love you guys. I love you, and I'm scratching. That's all I can tell you. Your money's still good. I'm still here, and I'm still scratching. I know, and I thank you for letting me know how important I am to you guys. Because you guys take big chances. With the way things is, it takes a hell of a dog man, really a love of a dog man, to take the chances that you guys take today. So as you guys load up and get on the bus to go back home, where y'all at, let me put gold stars on your gargles. Let me put a gold star on your vision. Let that come from me to you. Because it's you that carry the torch of what's been going on from the day they brought them American Pitbulls into this country. And they went from hunting dogs to fighting dogs. And the generations and the great dog men and the great dog fighters and the great dogs. Especially with the life that I have enjoyed in these dogs. To be able to share such a life that was blessed to me, that I hope you could see and hope you have the opportunity to have that type of life so you will have such a history to carry on. I don't care, we on the bus, and I don't never gonna steer away from You're looking for it on a pole. Looking for it on a wall. Looking for it on some down bearing rollers. I'm never going to get off of that. That's why I always stay back here where I'm at. And the only ones who can understand that is the guys with vision. Only the guys with vision. And they're out there. They're in the back street. And they're letting me know. And I'm letting you know I love you guys. I get a lot of support from you guys. I get a lot of push from you guys. I'm not trying to leave the corner. I'm not going to leave the corner. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to continue being there in the fight. And I'm going to stay alive and do the best I can. And that's all I can do. You know, I do have a good handler. So, I thank you guys. You know, and just want you to know, for those that, you know, Mo be lying to me. You know, Mo be sick and don't, you know, he be telling me you're all right. But I can see it all in his face, or I can see it on him, and I got to go sneak over there and talk to Money. I'm going to say, I'm going to apologize to you. Because I don't want to start feeling like I'm lying to you. I just don't tell you. All right? That's all it is. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to feel like I'm lying to you. I just don't tell you guys. Okay. What the questions are, Mike?
What number? There's a lot going on.
Wow. A lot going on? I missed the good shit? Did we miss an argument or something? What did we miss?
So, we had 118 at the poll. Appreciate everybody who voted. For those who haven't voted, don't hurt to stop by and just take a quick vote. Remember, it's not a wrong or right answer. Give us an idea of how people think about this. The poll question is, can the American Pitbull Terriers gameness be measured? We only going to tell you our point and how we feel about it. You see how I be feeling about it, you see how Mo feel about it. Me, I still have a hope for the modern day man who tries to take and do the right thing with it based on that word we use as gameness. Still going to apply. He's still going to have to run up that wall and be the best to ever do it. He's still going to have to get out there on them weights and be the best to ever do it to get any type of respect going around this joint.
Here's my turn. One thing about it, he can run up that wall high as he want. He just ain't running up that wall with a motherfucker biting on his ass. He can run that treadmill as fast as he want. But he ain't got that dog biting on his ass while he's running. He can stand there and look like he Olympius. Looking like he Lou Ferrigno. Stretching out ready to get a motherfucker. But he ain't in them four corners proving that point. And that's what the game was built on. The wall. The wall. Times change. I'm not your time. I'm my time. But my time on back. The word gameness, the word greatness, and everything about these dogs was earned by true, real dog men. Whether they was fucked up people, drug dealers, they were all dog men. Some better than others. Some stayed out crazy and still great. Some came easy, some got it the hard way. It doesn't really matter when it comes all part of history. It is what it is, and you can't change it. So accept it for what it is, not for what it was, because it's never going to change. And that's how I am about the gameness.
Well,
Now, you didn't give me one thing. Didn't nobody say nothing? I can't believe you guys. You mean to tell me I'm going to have to go home and look at the chat and see why nobody didn't call in? Why didn't nobody have no opinions? I be asking Mike
They
that.
had good points. I was pinning up their points. The points
Oh, you was pinning them up? Okay, as long as you was pinning them up, I can go back and read them because it wasn't enough to direct to me, evidently.
Because everybody, you know how this is.
They usually agree with me and be like staying on the point and directing it as,
right.
they part of the branch. They take what I say and they take it and they try to expand it because those who know that we on the same path, they take it up on themselves to help spread the word. They more of the Japiana seed, apple seed, like Schoolboy. It makes me feel good when Schoolboy, backs up what I say. Well, guess what? Y'all make me feel good because when y'all back up what I say, that's because y'all know.
Here, well, I got you on this. For the people, for the 22%ers that said no.
Yeah.
Can it be measured?
For the 22%, here's my opinion on the 22% that said no. Games cannot be measured. Put it like this. Occur is occur. Bottom line. That's what you're saying. Regardless. He's not game if he quits. He's occurred. Regardless. 3 hours, 17 minutes. Compared to a dog that couldn't make it past his schooling, they quit in 5 minutes. They're all the same. That's what you're saying. Then let's talk about the gamers. What is your level of gamers then? Have you really been tested? Have you ever had the opportunity to go 3 hours? Have you ever been beat down to the point that your dog is up there, you want to pick him up and just scared to pick him up, but in the end, you don't want to get him killed, so you pick him up, but you go home and call him game. But he only made one scratch for you before you was picking him up. Or maybe made 2 or 3. Did that make him just as good as the dog that quit in the match and yours didn't, but he never made it to the match? That make your dog gamer than him? Or that just make your dog escape the situation that he was in when his games got tested compared to your dog when his games got tested? That's the 22% of y'all. You don't test gameness because you don't test occur. When you start testing occur in his gameness, then you'll respect the gameness of a real game dog and what a real game dog is. And yes, there is levels to that gameness. Yours is only game because you ain't put him out there to be tested at that level. So your dog is only game as you let him be tested. 22%. And that's the truth. Occurs, occurs. Guess what? You can't say that for a game dog. How game is your shit? Your shit, could it go 3 hours? Could your dog even get in the match and go 1 hour 20? How do you know? You don't. 22%, most of y'all ain't never seen it or never tested it. You assume what you see maybe a roll. You assume what you see is gameness as what you read in a pedigree. But what level are you willing to go to really test your shit? And maybe you're not in that place or in that position to ever test your place because you're not into that. You rather run the wall or grab a flip pole. Oh, he is so goddamn game. He'll do that shit all day, but he ain't got nothing biting his ass either. Got crazy as hell, don't he? But he ain't got nothing biting his ass either. See, all y'all 22%ers would think there's not a level. The only way you know cannot be a level is when you're not getting bid on. You're acting like you're game. You're not proving that you're game. Because when you start proving that you're game, you will definitely find that there's levels to gameness. It's just where you finding it out at. Are you finding it out at home on the road? Or are you finding out how the levels of gameness in a match? How far did you get? How far did you go? Or did you even get anywhere and you just got an opinion? I'm going to leave that up for y'all to decide. Then you can't make it clearer than that. Right? If anybody believe in what I just said, you might as well start the thumbs up on that closure. I did some mic shit just then, didn't I? Did I put some mic shit in that one, y'all? I sounded like Mike, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. Come on, man. All right, so we ain't going to be here all night. I need y'all to help me out. Big shout out to all my people who showed up tonight. But we need just one more thing. We need to get this out the way. We need to get it out the way. I need y'all to show me some love. I need y'all to give me them thumbs up, thumbs up.
Show me the love, thumbs up. Show me the love.
Muscles. Muscles.
Muscles. Muscles.
Now, come on. Give me some
we gotta
roses.
Give up the hype. We got to give up the hype.
Give me some roses.
Give up the hype. We talking about gameness. I need them damn roses. Show me the love. Show me some love. I'm scratching. Look at my level. I'm scratching. Deep gameness. Deep. I'm scratching through the adversity. All right? That's what I'm talking about. There's levels to that shit. I ain't laying down. I ain't gonna say Twin did he put up a good fight though. Nigga, I'm still fighting. What the hell you mean? This fight ain't over. I'm game. Love y'all guys. Hope y'all feeling it. Yeah, man. I mean, I hope y'all can take that shit out to the internet world and beat the shit out of them. Because so many people got that shit all wrong. I hope I gave y'all something to build on. It changed that frame of thinking because everybody has a comment when it comes to games. And I think I covered enough to guys figure it out. Big shout out to my people in the back street back there. You know what I'm saying? This is to my boy. This is to my boy. Hey man, your dude, Ramirez, right? Let him know that I did not accept his cash. I let it go back to him. You know, I didn't pick it up because remember you were talking about buying the clothes and stuff? I let him get that back so he can get the clothes. Okay, so let him know. That's why I said it's not I didn't want it. I just wanted it to go back to him so he can get what he wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he got it. His stuff has already been out.
I just think that's what I did.
Okay. All right, fellas.
I know he wanted why I didn't pick it up.
Well, all right, fellas. Y'all know what time it is. You know, this conversation here, as you notice, our last couple conversations been straight, raw, straight to the point. We come from a different era, different time. But again, something that don't never change, and that's the dogs. The name's gonna change, the dog's name's gonna change, the pedigree's gonna change, the bloodline's gonna change. But the American Pitbull Terrier is still gonna be the American Pitbull Terrier. Because again, it ain't all about the papers, it's always gonna be about the dog. Who talks about a dog that ain't worthy of being talked about? History tells us when they're worthy of talk about, we talk about them. Can't be mad if we ain't heard about them. But enough people talking. That's all I'm gonna say on that situation. You know, so don't nobody get offended.
Right.
You know, to all my modern day people, I included the gameness part in there because again, the last couple of times I had these conversations, I always leave the door open for the work that you got to put in to change the public perception of these dogs, and it's not going to happen just because you say so. It's going to only happen because you put in the work and the effort and the time to create that
Do so.
thing that they're going to make people talk about. That's all I'm saying. Not kicking you under the bus, but trying to help you along, because regardless of whatever you're doing based on the purpose, the work is still going to be the same.
That's right. All you guys that don't fight your dogs, don't want to fight your dogs, want to do something else with your dogs in 2024, trust me, I ain't got nothing to say about it. I ain't got nothing against it. None of that. So don't get that shit confused, all up in the now when y'all know we get on the bus. It goes way back there where it doesn't even matter.
Right.
Let's keep it in the disclaimer. I want a whole bunch of people running around saying Twin did this, Twin don't think about this, and don't do that.
No, we ain't in that level.
We're not on that time.
Remember, this is why we keep telling you about the purpose. Purpose does matter.
Our purpose is dog fighting, period. I can't compare my world to your world if we're not in the same world.
And that ain't no shot against nobody. That's just the facts. So, the fact, for me, the fact is, gameness is always going to be through the eyes of the beholder. You know,
you feeding the shit.
you feeding the shit, you know what I mean? You believing in the shit. But are you testing that shit?
And how you test?
And how you testing that? How you going to ever know? Remember what we tell you about the gameness. The gameness will show itself. You just got to know what you're looking for. And if you're new to the game, and you're new to this understanding of the gameness, trust me, you know what it looked like when you see it. The thing is, based on the conversation, are you going to do what you need to do? That's the point. That's why we have these videos. We try to put all interpretations of looking from the different people's eyes that you've been around over the years, and you know we've seen them all. We done, like I said, we cleaned out yards, man.
You know, I had one of the people out here made a comment, and I guess he goes to Fat Bill's show, and I guess Fat Bill was like acting like he didn't know us, but he was like, Twin, with all the dog men that y'all been around, I got a question for, I always wanted to ask Fat Bill, how you not gonna know them with all the great dog men around, and you don't know them great dogs? If the Twin didn't have Mama on the show, Triple M on the show, Stone City's a fact, Victor's a fact, Loctite, naming all the kennels, Detroit, Big Rock, all these kennels, Fat Bill. And you telling me and you own the American Game Times that you don't know them? And they in your book? Tell me Fat Bill a hater, Twin. Why do Fat Bill talk like that? Because see, Fat Bill got listeners. But that's a good question to ask Fat Bill. If Fat Bill was so well known and he knows these kennels like we know them, then how could you not miss them?
There ain't too many twins running around looking like us.
And sure not like we ain't got the dogs worth talking about. So I told him, man, like this. I stood up for Fat Bill. I said, even though I talk about Fat Bill because of the dogs he went into people that was in a level that we were in, exactly what it is, because the level that he was getting his ass kicked in was the level that I was running the dogs in. And that's kind of hard to bite that apple when you got to face that apple. But Fat Bill ain't quite bit that apple to understand. That's what you got to live with. So I'm not going to ever let somebody put Fat Bill down. Because Fat Bill did match dogs, and he had good dogs. Only point that I was making was the point that was there to be made. Whether he liked it or not, it wasn't meant to be no disrespectful thing, and I'm not gonna let nobody else disrespect him, especially with him being a dog. I just said the circle that he seemed to not know me was the circle I was in, that he was getting his ass kicked. And everybody that beat him go pick up the phone and call and ask if they know the twins. Guess what answer you're gonna get, Bill? They do. So it's funny that you don't know, but the people that's kicking your ass do. And that says a lot.
It is what it is. You know how history works. Ain't nothing back there you can go change, man. It is. Can't change. It's back there, bro. Now accepting it, that's another thing.
Yeah. It's probably gonna be hard for you to swallow.
I actually thought you would have stopped at your own book.
Me too.
I really
I'm
thought,
in the book.
I mean, come on, man.
That's okay. But you know, one of those.
Not everybody make it in your book. Now, I just said, this be in your book of two different dogs. I'm kind of shocked that you didn't know that. But then again, I guess color got a lot to do with that. I try not to say that, but you know, I look at it like, well, maybe he just didn't know we was black. Well, what other reason would you not know what's in your book? But don't take nothing away from him. That's just put it out there that, like, you know, you still Fat Bill. You still gonna be a legend. I still gonna get people to go buy his books. And I tell y'all all the time, if you haven't bought his books, you need to go buy his books. Cause we in them. You know, this is the thing, you know, but then the book's gonna give you things that, you know.
Yeah, he's in them.
You're gonna need. You need to need all that history. There's so much information.
His books are great.
Great books to have. Great books. So
they are.
I think if you don't have it, you should make it a part of your collection because it's got enough for them in there. And if you send you the CD, you know, he really took care of us because he sent us everything.
And
big
that's
shout out
why
to Henry
I
James.
said it. You cannot say that I hate on Fat Bill.
No.
I will always put him at the highest standard in the dog game. You can't take that away from me. I don't have to like him because you consider him a legend. And I'm going to always respect him as a legend that he is because he plays a big part in this game.
Very big part of the American Pitbull Terrier community. Very big part. Get the books. You won't understand this, what that means until you get the books. You got to get the books to understand.
Right. So believe me, when he talk about us, it don't make us feel bad or look bad.
No.
It really doesn't look bad.
I be wondering some of the people that be talking, how come I don't see you in his books?
Right.
I mean, you know, when you got them trollers that be talking,
right.
You know, nobody stops and asks them, well, you all this about what Fat Bill, and then how come you ain't in none of his books? He's got a whole bunch of books, a lot of information, but you ain't nowhere in none of the books.
None of y'all in them books.
Nobody in them books.
None of them he says and hey sayers.
Ain't none of y'all in the
book. Y'all need to shut the fuck up and let Bill talk.
Like, exactly. That's where I be at with that. The thing is, y'all, the Bulldog community is only what we make it. You know what I mean? Well, every family has squabbles.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's this thing called integrity and respect. And it's just sometimes you gotta just.
We wouldn't be true dog men
if we didn't respect that. You know, we gotta respect the fact. The fact is, Fat Bill had a major part to do in the history of these Bulldogs. And if you don't have his books, you need to go buy the books.
Because they're very interesting.
Because they are very interesting and a lot of information.
And I got them. I love them.
Yeah. So
and really appreciate any sign.
Right. I mean, how can you really hate on him for that?
Right.
But that put all that to the side because, again, the important message across here, regardless of what we feel and how that relationship is, as a person and as a dog person in this community, I would advise you, if you don't have the books, go buy the man's books. If you don't have Schoolboy's books, go buy his books. Man, so much information, so much history. Other people's views, other people.
You'll find yourself down there being in the book. You'll be caught up. You know, it takes me, I get inside those books and I become part of the book. And Fat Bill, he explains the matches more. His story.
Read his books compared to the Sport and Dog
Journal. Right.
They put you right there. That's the difference between the Sport and Dog Journal and Fat Bill's books. He puts you right there. You get a better idea of what was really happening. So we put that out there because, again, It's okay to learn the history of these dogs. Actually, if you get the history down pat and understand the history of this game, you're going to be successful, regardless of what you choose to do. Even a man in modern day times doing what you're doing, you're still going to have to learn to be a good dog man, because there's a lot of responsibility that comes to doing what you're trying to do with this type of animal. Period. I don't care how people think and take that. But it's got to have respect for the dog, and the dog is always going to be what matters around here.
The pedigree.
Not the pedigree. Not the dog. The dog. Because if the dog ain't shit, why are we talking about it? That's just keeping it real.
Meanwhile,
in the meanwhile, while we doing what we doing, you know how we do it. To even be game, to even be considered game,
not occur,
but game. You got to always.
Game dog.
I mean,
game dog.
I mean, you got to always. I mean, I'm telling you, man.
Damn.
You got to always scratch the wind.
Don't get in there thinking that the dog quit and you ain't got to scratch.
You got to go get it.
You got to go get that paper.
Got to, by all means necessary.
Let him go, baby.
See you on Friday, man.
Don't
talk about it. Be about that life, man.
That's right, baby. That's right. Too bad I ain't on this thing, man. I could have put up me a dog of the night. I would have been putting up Jigger. I think about those the soldiers, Jigger, Wally. You know, all them was good dogs. You know.
Them dogs right there, they games was never tested.
Their dogs, Wally's games was never tested. Jigger's games was never tested. I mean, when you got them killers, they the game testers. That's what I call them. Pandy was a game tester. Queen of Heart was a game tester. Tornado was a game tester. Say the Lady was a game tester. All these great dogs that are winners in the history of the dog game were all game testers because their records show that they won. Say was a game tester. Grand Champion Shep was a game tester. Shep Jr., Champion Shep Jr., Champion Caveman. I mean, there's so many dogs that I can name. Triple M, Mau Mau. I mean, there's just so many. B-Class, Suburban Paul. I love all you guys. So, I mean, there's just so many y'all guys that can't name. But those are game testers. They made history being game tested. Remember that. Yeah. And we're going to leave it right there for you guys until Friday. Yeah. Hey guys, I'll see y'all Friday. Big shout out to everybody coming through, especially the guys out there with that vision. I see you. Much love, fellas. Stay safe. Be real. Be real. And be respectful. It's hard. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's already bad enough. It's dangerous. It's already bad enough that it's dangerous. But guess what? Stay safe and respect the game.
question is for my man. This is an answer for my man Balls Deep. Balls Deep said true, but question is, did you ever beat him? If you talk about Bill, right? Let me explain something to you right quick. After them 3 ass whoopings, Bill never came back. Look at the time period and at the time of them losses. We know the times of them losses. We never got a chance to see Bill again.
Right, we never had the opportunity to. But guess what? I mean, the game is like this. If you hook up, you hook up. We never got a chance to hook up. But he's still alive and so am I. In this game, he'll tell you just like I'm telling you too. In this dog game, you get your dogs and you put them down. It's the only way you're going to find out the answers that you're looking for. It just so happened the people that he lost to was my friends. That's all. That had nothing to do with me beating him. I would have beat his ass too if he wanted to go on the brat. I'd have took brat into anything he had. What I got to be worried about? You know what I'm saying? Like him. He'll bring his best shit like I'm bringing my shit. Did it ever happen? No. Did he ever go into me? That's the question. Right? Not me going into him. Why did he go into me? Oh, he didn't know me. Oh, I just got to know him because he was losing to all my friends. Okay. Remember that. Hope that answers the question.
Remember, he was taking them 4 and 5 and 6 time winners
He said
didn't really know.
Right.
He didn't know them people.
He didn't really know those guys.
He knew them after the fact. So that's probably one of the reasons why we didn't ever really hook up, get into him, because after that brief moment,
he might have got a possibility if he kept on hanging around Bakari. He probably would have got that opportunity because Bakari came very close to meeting with us with Charlie. So he was definitely in the range in the area, and we was always out there. We just never had the opportunity. And then back then, I was in. He was my biggest fan. I probably wouldn't have wanted to go into Fat Bill because he was my biggest fan. I had too much respect. But if he had called me out, I had something for his ass. And my line of dogs definitely proved that. History tells you that. What would I be scared of? I ain't had nothing to be scared of. Okay? And I was never playing in this game one day that I ever wake up scared of somebody and they shit except for Pandy. Pandy's the only dog that I would have never answered the phone to. Put it like that. I would have took Bradley and anything out there her way. Bring it. I'd have took Bart Rogers and put him on anything. I'd have took any champion dog out there to produce out of a going hard yard and put him on anything out there because we didn't have nothing to worry about. History shows you that now. Nothing. Can't say it no better than that to you.
Thanks for the comments, though, Balls Deep. That wasn't a shot at you. That's just the way it is, bro.
Balls Deep, if you still in the room, man, you got me on one, man. Balls Deep, you got me on one. Alright? Now I'm gonna ask you some questions. Okay, and you go and check with your boy. Now I know he ain't your boy, but this is a good one for Fat Bill. Here's the funny thing. When he went into May, there was Champion Nene out there. Champion Nene and Chi were multi-winners. You know who Fat Bill went after? He went after the 2-time winner May. He went after May. He took the match with May. Why? She was only a 2-time winner. Here go Chi, a 7-time winner, but she didn't go on the Champion Nene. He went after the 2-time winner and he got his ass kicked. That's one. Bullet. He'll figure was a 4-time winner going for his grand championship. Bullet wasn't nothing but a 2-time winner. He made his championship on Fat Bill. Oh, and by the way, that's So Evil dog, champion So Evil. Oh, yeah, him. Yeah, he went into Cochise when Cochise was a 2-time winner. Yeah, yes he did. And he lost to Cochise. So, what did I tell you? Why you think that shit pisses him off? You know, because it takes these guys that he did not know, have no idea who we were, to do that much about it. So while he's trying to, he don't know us. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you what we know about what he did. After them 3 ass whoopings right there, Fat Bill got out of that circle and never brought his ass back. Now let me also remind you, I had Champion Pretty Mama out there at 42 that would have been glad to go into his ass. She's in his book. She's in his book. He didn't know it, but she's in his book. Why didn't he test her? Brad was at 36, 37, was below that weight. Why did he test her? Because they were already champions. And he didn't go into none of them champions with them multi-winners. Not a one of them. So what did that tell you? But see, out of that was one circle he needed to get the fuck away from, and he did. So can't get mad at me. Can't tell me I'm a hater. I'm telling y'all what is true. So you can't get me mad at the truth. I was on one. I had to bring that back. I had to. That's what Live Life. Live Life real, baby. That was for you, baby.